Hey everyone, Ryan here. I wanted to make a video on some of my favorite fantasy series that helped me get into reading that I read when I was a teenager and through college. This video is for for kids and adults, for anyone looking to get into reading fiction more often, in particular for fantasy. And these are books that I had a lot of fun with and that really made me into the reader that I am today. So I want to first start off with the first book that I really read that got me into uh, reading in general, and that is the Percy Jackson series. Um, I read this when I was in sixth grade, and I remember I when I first started reading this book, I couldn't put it down. I was up late at night every night reading this book and this entire series just because of how great it was. It really captured my attention when I first got into reading. So if you're not familiar with it, it's essentially about a group of teenagers who are uh, descendants of the Greek gods, and being demigods, they're half god and half human. They have these cool powers, and they go on different quests essentially to fight different evils and different monsters from Greek mythology. But it's all set in the modern day, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty unique, and it's very well written and really helps you get into the fantasy series when you're first starting out. Really helps get you into the world and just really falling in love with reading. So I appreciate the series so much. I loved it so much growing up, and I still to this day. Um, they're making the new TV series now. They've covered the first two books, and I'm looking forward to them just continuing with that TV series and just watching more. So yeah, Percy Jackson is a great place to start with fantasy reading. Next is the probably the most popular fantasy series of all time, and that's Harry Potter. If you're not familiar with um, this is just amazing. This was a big hit back in the '90s and 2000s, about Harry Potter, who is a wizard in the wizarding world, and um, yeah, this is just phenomenal. This is starting getting more into, now you're more in a different world. That's You're still on Earth, but now it's a little isolated. It's in a different world, and focuses more on magic and some of the more mythology and magic and stuff like that. So it's a good entry point as well as a fantasy reader. So definitely highly recommend it. It's fantastic. There's a lot of support online and videos about covering the series, and if you want to get deeper into the lore, and there's so many movies as well. So that's something I did when I was reading this back in middle school, was every time I would finish one of the books, I would go ahead and watch the movie that associated with it, and that was a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend that too. That's a fun way of reading these books and enjoying the movies at the same time. Is read the book, watch a movie, and so on. So these books are so common, you can get them at every library. And same with the movies. If you don't have access to it through the streaming platforms, a cheap alternative is what we did was we rented the DVDs through the local library. You can check out, if you weren't aware, DVDs from your local library, and the Harry Potter ones are so popular that pretty much every library has them. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. Next, we have Aragon, the Inheritance Cycle. This series in particular is very um, is very close to my heart. This series helped me get through a few hard times when I was younger, and when I was in college, when I reread it. It's definitely my comfort series. I love these books so much. This whole series, and yeah, this is starting to get you into the more traditional side of fantasy. It's easing you into that. Okay, now we're in a different world. We're riding horses. There's dragons. There's elves and dwarves, and there's some monsters, and um, it's just a great entry point when you're starting to get more into the traditional fantasy side of things. It's Um, the the writing isn't too complicated, but still enjoyable, and it's just a lot of fun. This whole series. So there's 4 books in the Inheritance cycle, and it's just a great read. So it's quite satisfying. So I definitely recommend Aragon. It's a lot of fun. Don't watch the movie though. Movie was movie was horrible. I hear that they're actually coming out with a new TV series, maybe through Disney, or a movie adaptation that the author Christopher Poloni is helping work on. So that's exciting if that's true. But yeah, the books are incredible. So definitely read the books. And lastly, the most famous fantasy series of all time, that I would recommend once you've read those, is The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Um, Especially reading The Hobbit first. The Hobbit is was meant more as a children's book, so the language is and how it's written is definitely allows you to get into Tolkien a lot easier than if you just jump straight into the Lord of the Rings. This is what I've done as I've gone on my journey with Tolkien. I started with The Hobbit, and it's very enjoyable. I love this book so much, and I can't recommend it enough. So definitely read The Hobbit first. It's great, and then jump into the Lord of the Rings. It's a behemoth of a book, but it's incredible. If you've seen the movies, you know how great this story is, and the book is even better than the movies. The just It's just incredible. So I would definitely recommend reading The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings as your last series as you get into fantasy, and then from there, I think you'll be comfortable enough with fantasy to jump into all the different other uh, series that are out there, like Brandon Sanderson's The Cosmere, The Wheel of Time. There's so many great fantasy series that I myself I haven't read yet, and I'm looking forward to reading. But these were the series that helped me get into fantasy, and I'm just so excited to continue on my journey of reading fantasy. And I hope this encourages you to pick up some of these series and read along too. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Happy reading. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.